Is the soul of the Toronto Blue Jays franchise officially broken? Or are we witnessing a ruthless, necessary evolution? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We need to have a brutally honest, perhaps painful conversation about the elephant in the room, or rather, the superstar who is no longer in the room. The Toronto Blue Jays are heading into a pivotal season, but there is a massive, dark shadow looming over the Rogers Center. It's the ghost of Bo Bichette. Despite a flurry of offseason moves that brought in new faces, the reality is sinking in like a lead weight. Our homegrown shortstop, the flow, the swagger, the hit machine is gone. He is a New York Met, and the warning signs are flashing red that this decision might come back to haunt us in ways we haven't even begun to process. The details of his departure are a jagged pill to swallow for any fan who has watched this kid grow up in a Blue Jays uniform. For months, the narrative was that Toronto would find a way. We thought the reunion was inevitable because he was our guy. But when the dust settled, the Mets swooped in with a massive 3-year, $126 million contract. That is $42 million a year. It's a staggering number that screams, "We value you as a franchise cornerstone." The Blue Jays, for whatever reason, budget, philosophy, or miscalculation, didn't match that intensity. Now, we are left staring at a lineup card that feels incomplete, like a band trying to play a concert without its lead guitarist. This isn't just about losing a player, it's about losing an identity. Bichette wasn't just a shortstop, he was the heartbeat of the team's offensive approach. Even in a 2025 season where he missed time due to injury, he was the catalyst for our surge. He changed the way the team attacked pitchers with his aggressive, two-strike hitting ability. Losing that internal engine is dangerous. ESPN's Bradford Doolittle put it bluntly in a scathing new article, "Why the heck didn't the Blue Jays get Bo Bichette back?" It's the question that will echo every time the offense stalls, every time a ground ball slips through the infield, and every time we see a highlight of him crushing it in Queens. The fear isn't just that we lost him. It's that we let the soul of the team walk out the door for nothing but payroll flexibility. This decision has the potential to alienate a generation of fans who bought his jersey and believed he would be a lifer. It signals a shift from loyalty to business in the harshest possible way. Let's analyze the immense pressure now resting on the shoulders of his replacement, Kazuma Okamoto. The front office is banking everything on this transition, and it is a gamble of epic proportions. They believe Okamoto can step in and not just be decent, but be a star immediately. Doolittle's analysis is terrifyingly accurate. There's a lot of need for Okamoto to hit the ground running and become an AL Rookie of the Year candidate. Think about that expectation. We are asking a player new to Major League Baseball, new to the culture, new to the travel schedule, to replace a two-time All-Star and hit leader from day one. Historically, this is a massive risk. We have seen Japanese stars transition seamlessly, like Ichiro Suzuki or Shohei Ohtani, but we have also seen talented players struggle to adapt to the velocity and the grind of the MLB schedule. The adjustment period can be brutal. If Okamoto hits .240 with 15 home runs, that is a respectable rookie season for most teams. For the Blue Jays, in the context of replacing Bo Bichette, it would be viewed as a catastrophe. We are trading a known elite commodity for a variable. It's the kind of roster construction that gets general managers fired if it goes south. We are essentially betting that the unknown upside of Okamoto is worth more than the known production of Bichette. Furthermore, Doolittle points out a disturbing trend in the Blue Jays' offseason narrative that we cannot ignore. We started hot. We signed Dylan Cease to anchor the rotation, a massive win that should be celebrated. We brought in Cody Ponce for depth. We signed Okamoto to a lucrative deal. It felt like momentum was building toward a championship run. But by failing to retain Bichette, the entire offseason risks being defined by the one that got away. It fits a painful pattern for this front office, pursuits that come up short. Whether it was Ohtani on the plane that never existed, or now Bichette walking to New York, the perception is that when push comes to shove, the Blue Jays can't close the deal on the biggest stars. That perception is becoming a reality that haunts the fan base. It creates a narrative of almost good enough, which is the worst place to be in professional sports. We are constantly the bridesmaids, never the bride, and losing Bichette reinforces that feeling of being a second-tier destination for elite talent. The ripple effects of Bichette's departure are compounded by the current state of the roster, which is already fragile. We are dealing with a devastating injury to Anthony Santander, who is out for 5 to 6 months. That removes a massive power source from the middle of the order. Now, remove Bichette's high-contact, gap-to-gap approach. What is left? The lineup suddenly looks very different. It puts an unimaginable amount of pressure on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to carry the offense almost single-handedly. Vladdy needs protection in the lineup, and without Bichette or Santander, pitchers are going to pitch around him constantly. Doolittle's critique cuts deep because it exposes the fragility of the current retooling. He notes that the position player group is ostensibly the same, save for Kazuma Okamoto filling the spot of Bichette. That is a polite way of saying we got worse. We didn't upgrade, we substituted a proven star for a rookie, and in a division as brutal as the AL East, standing still is the same as moving backward. If the offense struggles early, the Ghost of Bo narrative will become deafening. Every slump will be met with Bo would have hit that. Every error will be met with Bo would have made that play. The media will feast on this storyline, creating a distraction that the team doesn't need. But let's look at the pitching side for a moment of hope, because that is clearly the front office's strategy. The addition of Dylan Cease is the counterargument to the doom and gloom. The front office clearly decided to pivot resources from the infield to the rotation. They are betting that a dominant rotation led by Cease, Kevin Gausman, and Jose Berrios can suppress runs enough that we don't need to score 6 runs a game to win. It's a shift in philosophy from outslugging opponents to outpitching them. However, in the modern game, you need balance. You cannot win 1-0 every night, especially in the playoffs. The haunting question remains: did we rob Peter to pay Paul? Did we sacrifice our offensive identity to build a rotation that might not get enough run support to win games? If we lose games 2-1 because we can't score, the decision to let Bichette walk will look like negligence. It's a high-wire act without a safety net. In conclusion, the warning from ESPN and the anxiety of the fan base are entirely justified. Bo Bichette was more than just a shortstop. He was a homegrown symbol of the Blue Jays' resurgence. He was the son of a major leaguer who grew up in our system and became a star. Losing him to the Mets for nothing but cap space and a compensatory pick is a bitter pill that may never fully digest. It signals a failure to retain the very talent we spent years developing. It places an unfair burden on Kazuma Okamoto to be a savior before he has even played a single inning in the big leagues. The 2026 season is now defined by this absence. If the Blue Jays make the playoffs and Okamoto shines, the front office will look like geniuses who sold high and bought smart. They will be praised for their fiscal responsibility and foresight. But if the team misses the postseason and the offense looks stagnant while Bichette tears it up in New York, this will go down as one of the worst offseason decisions in franchise history. The haunting has already begun. The question is, can we exorcise the ghost with wins, or are we destined to watch highlights of Bo in a Mets jersey while we sit at home in October? Now, I want to hear from you, the heart and soul of this team. This is the debate that will define our season. Are you terrified of a season without Bo Bichette, or do you trust the new direction with Okamoto and Cease? Do you think the front office cheaped out, or was $126 million too much for a shortstop with injury history? I want you to grade the offseason right now in the comments. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know your raw, unfiltered opinions. And as always, if you want the real talk about the Blue Jays that the mainstream media is too afraid to say, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. We are in for a wild ride, and we are going to navigate it together. Let's go Blue Jays!